it bad that I have to put like a day or two in between?
I think that's pretty normal.
Masturbation sessions.
I think that's pretty normal for most people. I think it's on normal to like masturbate 3 or 4 times.
Back when you were young, you would really go.
That never ended.
Were you like you were young like yesterday. I was young like 45 years ago.
Yeah. I'm still in my mid-20s.
Yeah, lucky bastard. So you can still like do it where it's like, I just imagine my kids.
Oh no.
No, not in that not in that way. I imagine that, my kids, especially the boys, they're doing the same exact thing that I did, and they're 18, 19 and 20 years old, and I'm like, back then 18, 19 years old, you're trying to get in 2 or 3 times a day.
Oh yeah. I mean, that never really changes.
No, it does. When you get older, it changes, trust me.
Yeah.
Cuz you're like, do I really want to do it right now, or do I not want to do it right now?
You think Charlie Sheen has slowed down? Or you think
I
he's
think
still
the
going?
drugs have probably slowed. I would imagine that he's probably, I think that he's probably has to medicate.
He has AIDS, right? Or HIV?
Yeah. There's a difference between HIV and AIDS.
What?
There's a difference between HIV and AIDS.
Well, one leads to the other, right?
Often, but Michael Jordan has HIV, but he does not have AIDS.
No, it's Magic Johnson.
Oh, Magic Johnson. What did I say?
He said Michael Jordan.
Oh, fuck. I'm sorry, Michael Jordan.
I heard this weird thing about Magic Johnson, like, it didn't get found in his blood. Like, recently. Like, I don't know.
Money.
I don't know. Start the show.
Okay.
What is up, boyos? I am Jake. That is Cory. This is the Jake and Cory podcast. What is up, Cory?
What is up, Jake?
The roof. That is what's up.
Well said.
What you been up to lately, man?
Working. It's tax season for a lot of people, and I did my best to try to get my taxes up front before April. Last year I waited till like the last minute, and it was crazy.
I did that last year too, and I have a feeling I might do that again and then just stress myself out.
Do you think you owe, or you get something back?
I've owed for like the past 2 years.
Yeah.
So probably owe, but
if you owe, honestly believe this, if you owe, wait till last minute.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Give yourself as much time as possible. If you know you're going to get something back, file that bitch as quickly as possible. So get your money.
Yeah, that's a fair point. So I've been working as well. And I found a little time to go to that new casino down the street.
Oh, the new
what's it called? Desert Diamond?
Desert Diamond.
Yeah, it just opened, and it's
the 18th.
Yeah, like last week.
Yeah. Literally. How was it?
Well, the parking garage is horrible. It's not set up properly. Like, the lanes aren't right. People are like almost running into each other. They have people directing traffic who should not be directing traffic. So, I mean, that was horrible. I can't even describe to you how horrible that was.
Is it like the equivalent of a new restaurant opening?
Oh, so much worse, dude. There's so many people there. I went there after work yesterday, actually. And just because I was going to do some like low limit, slot machines.
Penny slots?
Yeah, just to try it out. And the whole place was like packed. I couldn't even find a slot machine to play on.
It just opened, and it's right up the street from another casino.
Yeah. Is it?
Isn't there 2 casinos over there?
Where's the other casino?
I thought there was 2 casinos over there.
I thought they were connected.
Are they connected?
I think they are.
Maybe they are. I don't know.
So I don't know if you know this about me. I play. I'm a fan of poker.
Really?
I'm pretty good at poker.
I did not know that about you. I knew you play video games.
I do.
I knew you play the skin flute. I did not know you played poker.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like video games and poker, or maybe not video games, but like if you play tabletop games like D&D, stuff like that, which I do, I think playing poker is not far off from that.
So let me ask you a question. When you say you play poker, are you playing digital poker or actual physical cards?
See, now this is where I wanted to talk to you.
Okay.
Because I do play physical cards, usually not at a casino because it's a little more money for my blood.
Yeah, it's like, what?
Usually
$100 buy-in?
Usually it's a $200 buy-in for low stakes.
Okay.
But which is not necessarily something I want to do. I don't necessarily want to drop $200. So, I'll do like low limit games with friends and stuff. But like the best way to learn is online poker. And after you've played free games for a while, you kind of want to move on to, real money.
The pay app?
Yeah. Like you actually want to put in some real money. Not a lot. Usually you can do $10 buy-in games on online poker. Okay. But the thing about it, in Arizona and most of the country that we live in, the United States, online poker is illegal, sort of. It's like this weird legal gray area. Like it's illegal to run and operate online poker, at least in the state of Arizona, and most other states other than like Nevada and I don't know, Pennsylvania.
Are you saying that it's illegal because I know that there's a lot of poker apps out there.
Yeah.
I mean, is it just poker practice apps, or are you talking about like literally betting money on a hand of poker? Because I don't think everything that I've seen, and I'm a novice to this, everything I've seen in Arizona, poker is rampant. I mean, I have a friend of mine that she goes around and plays poker all the time, but I don't know if she plays
where at
online. She hits up Talking Stick.
Well, it's not illegal at the casinos.
Okay.
Because the casinos are technically Indian reservation.
But we have off-track betting. Isn't that a sign of gambling? Because wouldn't poker fall under a gambling law?
Exactly. Well, and online poker is a very interesting one. So like the law specifies that like if you're playing with friends and it's not really for profit,
right? It's
just like you're playing with friends and you're just dropping in like $20 or whatever it is. As long as no one's really profiting other than like winning the hand, it's good. As long as you're not turning it into some sort of business.
Right.
That's cool. But as soon as someone's profiting from it, it becomes an issue. And so playing online poker is like technically illegal. No one's ever gotten arrested for it or charged with any of it.
I would imagine that the first arrest would come when it's like a large sum of money.
Well, and there is large sums of money already happening. The bad part is, since it is illegal, sort of, bank accounts are weird about it. And also, so like trying to get your payout is sort of a difficult thing. And this also causes it that the government can't regulate these sites. So there are regulated sites in like Nevada. If you're playing in Nevada online, there are regulated sites. But if you're playing in somewhere like Arizona, especially Washington, I guess it's like super hardcore in Washington.
Washington State?
Washington State. It's like super hardcore there that like you can't, you're not allowed to gamble there. And it's kind of like that here. So what the bad part about that is you're playing on these sites that are sort of sketchy. They're not regulated. They could shut down at any minute. Most of them are overseas. So they're sending you money through like these shady bank accounts. Everything's sort of shady about it. I'm not saying I play on these sites or anything, but maybe I do. I'm not saying I do.
Do you?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Come on, go on record. Are you out there doing it?
Maybe. But I would never do high stakes on those things because I wouldn't want to lose that much money. If you're putting money into those places, for one, they're not going to pay you. Most of them have to send you checks. And if the site ends up shutting down, you're screwed. You lose all of that money. So I just don't understand why it's illegal. I don't get it at all. It seems sort of anti what we stand for as Americans, right? Like, we should have the freedom to do whatever the fuck we want.
You would think that we would have the freedom to do whatever we want, but I have learned over my years walking this planet,
it makes no sense to me,
that it's only legal if they can benefit from it.
And they could, though.
They can't. That's the biggest thing, that
if they set regulations and then there were actually online betting companies in Arizona, they would tax them for sure, right? And they'd be regulating them, and then they would have like a whole regulating system where they'd be making money. They'd end up having more people like taxing their betting money, because it's a law that if you gamble, you have to, let the IRS know. But at this moment, you probably wouldn't let the IRS know.
Well, you're talking about the IRS versus the state of Arizona, though, because the IRS is getting their cut. That's why Washington can do it. That's why other states can do it. But here's the biggest thing.
But regulation would happen through the state, and those companies would have to be regulated.
And Arizona clearly can't figure out that regulation, because possibly, here's just hypothetical, if they passed an ordinance to put in place that gambling regulation, it may affect the Native American communities, and Native American communities stand outside of a lot of Arizona state's regulations.
Yeah, and I understand that, and I think that is why they made the law, was to benefit the casinos of the Native Americans.
They want you to go there. That's why they still let you smoke inside.
Which is all cool and good, but like, maybe make it illegal to have casinos, but how about just make online betting legal, dude? Just make it legal.
They can't make it legal. It's gonna take
Why?
It's gonna take money out of the pockets of the Native Americans and their casinos.
It wouldn't, because they could capitalize on that.
That's the one payback that they get from this country taking their land. We won't tax your money.
But then, like, what about Nevada and California, where it's just like perfectly legal to do that?
Those aren't on native land.
How are they not?
The Nevada, the Strip that's all Indian reservation?
No,
that's where America decided to put their gambling mecca, in one spot, and it's there and the Eastern Seaboard, whatever, Atlantic City. Yeah. Atlantic City and Nevada, Atlantic City and Las Vegas are the two places America decided we're going to have American gambling in these two spots. Everywhere else, it's on the Indian reservation, because it is our way of paying back the Native Americans for taking their country from them.
Yeah.
I'm just speculating. I'm speculating. Being funny.
I do think that's part of it, though. I do think it was to like
to protect them, man.
To make sure the casinos do well, and I'm sure they have some sort of deal there as well.
I'm sure.
So
just for them to play, just to play nice.
I feel like if you made online betting legal, that they would also benefit from it. Like, the casinos would probably set up their own things.
I'm a rube when it comes to that, because I'm not a gambler.
Because wouldn't you want to, like, a big casino here is the Talking Stick Resort Casino, right? Wouldn't you, like, just be more willing to trust, like, a Talking Stick Resort poker website than some random poker site that launches?
I'm sure that they have one, but it's probably just for entertainment purposes.
Right.
I don't think it would be real gambling, because they want you to play poker in their actual building on their actual land.
They could profit from that so much, though.
They could, but they profit equally enough for the one thing that you don't want. Okay, let's hypothetically think about it.
It's just frustrating, because I want to play poker, but I don't want to drop $200.
Right.
And I feel like they're pushing me into some sort of gambling addiction that I don't want to have.
Don't worry, because Talking Stick Resort also sponsors a gambling addiction hotline.
I don't have a gambling addiction. I just want to do low stakes.
Yeah.
And 200 is a bit too rich for my blood.
Well, then you don't know poker. Now, I follow.
But the only way to get better is to play it, and I can't.
I follow a guy on Instagram, Vinny No Filter, and he is a poker dealer.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything about poker. I really don't. I'm trying to go with you here, but I'm trying to look at it from a business standpoint.
Right.
What if? Now, have you ever gotten?
But you got to also look at it from a legal standpoint and how it's screwing over citizens. Because it is, man.
We're not citizens. The Native Americans are citizens. We're visitors. You can't come into somebody else's house and tell them how to run their house.
Bro, I've lived here my whole life. You can't tell me I'm not a citizen.
They've lived here since the beginning of time. You are a visitor. They don't care that you were born here. You are not of here, and neither am I.
Listen, you're pushing me towards saying some offensive shit over here.
That was the whole plan.
Listen, you win a war, you get the land. All right?
That's so wrong.
It is wrong, but it's... I don't know.
I pushed you to it. But think of it. Have you ever been in a casino and gotten in trouble or brought or had attention given to you that was like they thought that something was hinky?
No, never.
Okay, real quick. I was at the casino with a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And I literally took her to the ATM before we went to the casino. We went to a Chase Bank ATM.
Yeah, because you don't want to pay that $3 fee.
Exactly. So we went to a Chase Bank ATM. She took out $100, got them all in 20s. Mm-hmm. We were out. We were playing Wheel of Fortune on the little dollar slots, little $3 slots, little $5 slots. And then she went to put in the $20 bill and the machine kept kicking it out. And she thought the $20 bill was just, in bad shape. So she went over to the counter to get change to break the $20 bill. Well, while she was standing there, the cashier took the $20 bill, turned around, walked away, told her just 1 minute, walked away. And within 2 seconds, there were two big Indian people standing behind us at the counter.
Why?
And they asked us both to come with them. The $20 bill was fake.
How did you get that from a bank?
We got it out of the ATM, and the ATM spit out a 20. There are two of us that saw that $20 bill come out of that ATM, and it was counterfeit.
Usually that wouldn't happen at a bank.
It happened at an ATM.
Huh.
It happened at an ATM in North Phoenix.
Did you get in trouble? What happened?
So they took us to the back of the room, and they told us that this $20 bill was counterfeit. And and my friend sat there and vehemently denied that we were in there trying to pass off fake $20 bills. I told her, I said, we just literally went to the bank and pulled this money out. Luckily, my friend had the bank receipt in her purse with the time and date stamp on it and said all the other 20s that we've been playing on your floor, but she had to fill out some paperwork. So they had to surrender the $20 bill, and then we had to leave the casino.
Dude, that makes me want to keep receipts every time I go to the bank now.
They kicked us. They told us that we had to leave, but they took us into the back of this sterile hallway, and the whole time we were back there.
Are you allowed to go back, or were they like never come back here?
Oh, I've been back several times since then.
Oh, okay.
But
we should go together sometime.
It would be fun.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't, because the smoke just drives me insane. But
I love that.
But they took us down this sterile hall behind these two big, huge ass doors. You go down this sterile hall, you go into this room, and it's like an interrogation room. And there's these big, huge Indians, Native Americans standing around you, asking her all these questions. So I wasn't the one that was actually putting the $20 bill in the machine, so they weren't questioning me. But I had my cell phone out, and I was trying to record the situation. And literally, one of the big Indian guys came up to me, grabbed my cell phone out of my hand, opened up my photos, deleted the video, and put my cell phone in his pocket and said, when I walk you to the door, I will give this back to you. Have a seat.
That's hardcore, dude.
Extremely hardcore. So
it's their property.
Moral of the story is that Indian reservations, they play by their own rules. They have their own government. So imagine if you have a Talking Stick Resort app. You do the big buy-in, you lose big, but you lose through the app and you're at home. How are they going to collect their money? How are they going to come after you at that time? If they had an app that actually did what you wanted to do.
What do you mean?
They have no control. They wouldn't have any control over collecting any of the money that you lost.
You have to deposit money into the thing.
You don't think that people go in and over bet themselves at times, and they just keep playing and playing and playing?
You can't do that.
And they're playing on credit. You can play on credit at Talking Stick Resort.
But on the websites, typically you have to make a deposit into like your bankroll.
So you have to pay up front.
Right.
Okay, so then that just goes back to my novice knowledge.
You can put it on your credit card, but it's just going to run it as like a purchase.
See, that grows back to my knowledge. So my way of thinking was like, if they did that just for a fake $20 bill, if someone runs up a line of credit on an app,
Yeah.
But you can't do that because you have to pay up front.
Because
I told you I was a novice. I don't know anything about gambling.
Because I mean, like that would be up to them if they want to run.
They would come and break your neck, dude. They were so intimidating over a fake $20 bill.
That's up to them if they want to run some sort of credit thing on their website. But I think most of them wouldn't. So that really means, for one, it's safer for them as an investment. Like, they're just going to make that money no matter what.
Right.
And number two, it's kind of safer for us because we're just spending our money.
Let me ask you this.
We're making a purchase,
I'm an idiot.
We're paying for chips.
I'm an idiot for gambling, okay?
Yeah.
If they had an app that did what you wanted it to do, poker app, where you could play big money or small buy-ins, would you not get frustrated over the algorithm that would be built into the back end of that app? I mean, we already know that the slot machines at the casinos are electronically coded to either pay out wins and pay out a certain amount of wins after it collects a certain amount. So knowing that apps are completely controlled
by algorithms.
Why would you trust that more so than trusting the person in front of you flipping cards in their hand?
I do have an answer for you.
Yeah. That's why I asked.
And it has a lot to go, like, if you go to Nevada and you play the regulated ones, they're regulated on that stuff. So if they're found out that they are cheating the algorithm or that the algorithm is favoring people.
Well, the algorithm is always going to favor the house all the time.
I mean, if you're playing
in every card game, it's going to favor the house.
If you're playing Hold'em, there is no house.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
See, I don't know. So,
yeah.
But I would think that from a business standpoint, I would develop an app that would always benefit my business first, but give you the perception that it's a fair game.
Yeah. So for one, there's that they're being regulated on their algorithms. Two, a lot of these websites have live dealers.
Okay.
Where there will be someone in a room with a webcam. And if you're playing roulette, you'll see them just throw the roulette. So if you don't trust it, you can do that as well. And you can do that for card games as well. So you could always do that. But for the most part, nowadays, the algorithm's pretty stable. And the best way to get around it is to just play a few games at a very low stakes just to see if it's screwy at all. The only one that would really worry me about playing online poker would be blackjack, because with Hold'em, someone's gonna win. You know what I mean?
What's Hold'em for people that don't know? Texas
Hold'em, 2 cards. You're
talking German to me.
I don't know how to explain it.
But you're a poker player.
I would consider myself a novice poker player.
Okay,
but
I have a friend named Vinny No Filter, and he's a poker dealer, and I actually followed his going to school and learning everything on social media. He was really sharing a lot of his progress on how he went from working in an office to he's always dreamed of being a poker player, and he started at a lower echelon casino, and he finally made it to the big leagues with this Talking Stick Resort.
So he started as a dealer and now he's playing?
No, he was a player, and he still plays in a little private group.
Okay.
But he wanted to become a poker dealer. And I watched his progression going to school and learning how to become a card dealer. And he ended up having to work at a little no-name casino down in Chandler, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And then he finally worked his way up to the big league, which is Talking Stick Resort.
That's awesome. Yeah.
He's a really great...
I do hear dealers don't make a lot of money, though.
I don't know. He looks... but here's the thing. He's happy with what he's doing, so maybe it's not about the money. Maybe it's about just what he loves to do.
If I guess if you're playing high stakes... if he's dealing high stakes...
I don't know. He's out on the floor. He's not. I've never seen him in a picture of him being
mock-ups
in the high stakes, because they have that high stakes room. I know that.
Yeah.
And it's always behind a gold rope or something.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of ways dealers make money is by tips. So if they're getting tipped a lot, then
I would tip Vinny No Filter, because he's like a massive man with hair.
Well, we live in America and we tip everything. Everything is tipped here, man.
Which is stupid.
It is. It's a little over the top. I don't mind tipping people for things, but it's a little over the top.
Side note, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Tipping. Do you tip the people at Sonic Drive-In? Because
this is a weird one.
Because back in the day, when you went to the Burger Shack, you drove up to it, and the little waitress brought your food out. She was on little roller skates. You slipped her a little dime.
Yeah.
See, here at Sonic, I never know. Now, the Sonic that I hit...
Here at Sonic, you're family.
Here at Sonic, we're family. Now, I'm a fat guy, if I haven't made that clearly obvious.
Yeah.
And I go...
you are.
and I go to multiple fast food places, sometimes
in the hour,
sometimes two at a time. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah,
I've hit two.
Well, sometimes you want a burger from Wendy's, but you want the fries from McDonald's.
Yes, and you want the shake from Carl's Jr.
Yeah, Dairy Queen, whatever.
I've actually I've done that before. That's a whole. I could do a whole effing show.
We could do a special episode just about fast food.
Literally,
yeah,
because I am a fat dude of all fat. Just like tonight, on the way here to the studio, I was craving chocolate cake and hummus.
Yeah.
And I literally veered off the side of the road, went to a store, and bought chocolate cake and hummus.
I showed up, Cory has like a thing of hummus. I'm looking at it right now. It's gone.
I literally ate, what is this? This is what is this ounces? What's that? It's a 10-ounce tub of Saba roasted pepper hummus. And I literally destroyed half of it. And then I was so fat in the store that I didn't know if I wanted pita chips or if I wanted Triscuits. So I bought both of them.
I noticed you got the Thin Crisps, which is... the
Thin Crisp, Triscuit Thin Crisp Originals with just the sea salt.
I like the original too, but I like the normal Triscuits.
I like the thin ones. The normal size Triscuits, they get stuck in my old man teeth.
You know what? I think the thin ones would go better with hummus, though. You're right.
You're right, but I prefer the pita chips more than the hummus.
Anyway, tipping at Sonic.
Do you tip the car hops at Summit? Are you supposed to? And I'm too chicken shit to ask.
Okay, I've got some information for you.
Please help me.
I've got the inside information.
Help me help you. Help me help you.
So I used to not tip at Sonic. All right.
Wow, we just did that.
Whatever. I used to not tip at Sonic.
Okay.
Now I just don't go to Sonic because I don't want to tip. Dude, if I'm gonna tip, I'm gonna go to a fucking restaurant. All right.
Okay. So then you're tapping into my bias now, because that's what I have tip rules when I go to a restaurant.
Hold on. I'll let you finish. I'm gonna let you finish.
All right.
But let me just finish this real quick. I met someone who worked at Sonic. They actually don't get paid fully minimum wage because they're expected to make so much in tips, like a waiter or a bartender. And then if they don't make that much, they get compensated to minimum wage. So you are supposed to tip people at Sonic.
Why is that not known? I go to Filiberto's drive-thrus, and they are proud to post up a sign in front of that little elotes can. Tips welcome. Yeah. Why don't they have a tips welcome sign at Sonic?
I don't know, man. I think it's because the Sonic has been around for a while, and it used to be common hat to tip people at fast food restaurants. But then more and more, there's been more and more drive-thrus instead of walkouts. But Sonic kind of stuck with the walkout thing, and there's no real way to address it.
Oh, but you do realize, and this is going really, really deep. You do realize the origins of tipping.
My penis?
No, the origins of tipping.
Cow tipping?
No, not cow tipping. The origins of tipping went back to the 1800s, where people were trying to. It was a form of bribery.
Yeah.
When it originally started, and now it's just now become the norm.
Well, if you go to Japan, and you try and tip there, they get offended.
It's illegal.
Yeah, it's not illegal, but
it's like calling someone the N-word.
It's like saying, "Thanks for nice effort, bud."
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, "Oh, thank you."
Okay, so this is where
it's like a sign of disrespect to tip someone in Japan.
This is where my horse assery will shine itself bright when it comes to tipping. I don't tip at fast food restaurants. Did we not just go through a whole battle over the last few years about fast food restaurant employees wanting to make $15 an hour and they still can't remember to put napkins or more than one napkin in the bag?
Yeah.
Or they can't get one order right?
I don't necessarily...
I'm not tipping at a fast food joint.
Yeah. I don't necessarily disagree that it should be 15 because... That's a whole other thing.
Right.
But
I'm not tipping at a fast food restaurant because fast food restaurants are not career moves.
Yeah.
They are transition places and places for teenage kids to go and get jobs in the summer.
I agree with the 15 because that should be the minimum because we haven't been raising the minimum with inflation. But anyway,
I see you on that
But
side.
I also agree with you that is not a career move. Whereas like being a waiter, it could be a career move if you're working at like a high-end restaurant.
If you're working, and that's where I draw the line. That's the line of demarcation. Fast food restaurant, I'm not tipping. I'm not tipping you for basically...
That's why I don't go to Sonic.
Reheating meat, putting it between two stale buns and serving it to me through a window. Yeah. That does not deserve a tip. Now, if I am walking into your building, into your restaurant, sitting, having someone show me to a table... sitting me down at the table, handing me a menu, bringing me drinks.
Checking up on me,
taking care of me, making sure that my soda or my coffee or my water never runs out. The chips or whatever and the salsa never runs out.
Oh, breadsticks, whatever.
You're taking care of me. That entails a tip.
Yep.
You deserve a tip for that. Now.
Yeah, because like fast food is like a one-time thing.
Yes.
You know? But like, and it's the same thing. Like if I were to go, let's just use, I don't know, Olive Garden.
Hypothetically.
I hate Olive Garden, but I'll still take a sponsorship. I'll love you if you guys give us money, but
that's not going to reel them in, but okay. Here's an insult. Give me your money.
Yeah. Olive Garden is gross, but,
but then he doubles down on it.
But I love it if you guys want to give me money. But yeah, let's say we're going to Olive Garden. I sit down. They're waiting on me. They're bringing me drinks. They're cooking my food in the back. They bring me the food. They're checking in on me, giving me more drinks, asking if I want some wine. They bring me the check, ask if I want another drink. And then, boom, pay, tip. Now, let's say if I go to Olive Garden, they have that to-go thing. If I go pick up the food, I'm not tipping.
Amen.
Because I'm just picking up the fucking food.
You know where tips have also left? My middle child, Aiden, loves Chili's.
Yeah.
I never tip at Chili's. You know why?
Why?
Because they bring me my bill through that little robot on the table.
Yeah.
And when I want something else and I want to place an order, I'm placing an order through the robot on the table. And then
that's a slippery slope.
The robot's got the audacity to ask me for a tip when I'm ready to check out.
Yeah, that's a slippery slope, though, because I will say they are still bringing you drinks. They're still checking up on you and doing all that stuff. But it is weird because you can order drinks on that thing now.
You can order all of your food. What they're doing is they're showing you to your table.
Yeah.
And you're ordering your drinks and stuff through that app.
Yep.
The lady is bringing them out to you from the back, but there's no interaction.
Yeah. I think so.
She's doing what the robot's telling her to do.
Most places, if there's one of those things, I'll usually set it to the side, and when the waitress comes, I'll be like, or waiter,
if they come.
They will initially just to introduce themselves. And when they come, I'll just tell them, I'm probably not going to use that thing.
Chili's ruined it for me. Ruined it. Chili's is down. But here's my number one horse assery when it comes to tipping.
I will pay on that thing though,
won't.
Because that just speeds up the process.
It's Wi-Fi. That's too risky. If it's a swipe your card thing, which most of them are, and not a chip reader, I'm not using that. No,
most of them are chip readers.
The ones that I went to, the Chili's on 19th on 7th Street and Bell Road, does not have the chip reader. It has the slider.
Why are you eating over there, bro?
Because that's where my kid lives.
Okay. Yeah, I've gone to Chili's a couple times. Not that I frequent Chili's.
I don't either. It's not that great of
the
food.
Chip reader? I don't know.
I didn't have the chip reader.
I think their food is better than Applebee's.
So.
Unless Applebee's gives us money, of course.
I don't think there's a chance. There's a snowball chance in hell.
If Applebee's gives us money, Chili's is better. Or Applebee's is better.
Applebee's is better.
But for right now, Chili's is better. So, and that's with no money. That's a free one for you, Chili's.
That's a free one for you.
Still pretty bad, though.
You are doubling down on the insults today. So here's my number one thing about tipping. If the check hits the table, not the little robot, but they physically bring a check to my table before I'm done eating, tip gone. You didn't even give me an opportunity to finish my food and enjoy my food. You just lost out on possibly me ordering dessert, or maybe ordering coffee, or maybe ordering something else.
You don't tip if they bring you the check while you're still eating.
If they bring me the check before I'm done eating, no, because when they bring you the check,
just not tip people,
Jake,
bro.
When they bring you the check, that is the waitress or waiter telling you that they are done serving you.
Yeah, that's fine. Then give them like a 5 or 10% tip.
No, I'm not.
Dude, I don't think you understand, though.
I'm not going to your restaurant on your time. I'm going to your restaurant on my time.
And you got to understand, this is not their fucking restaurant. They're just working
It's
there.
their fucking tip, though.
But listen,
good restaurants don't do that.
You have got to understand that these people make under minimum wage, and the only way they can make up for that is through tips.
Then they should understand their industry. Because when you go to a restaurant, a reputable restaurant, they will not bring you your check before you are done eating.
If that happens at like a high-class restaurant, yeah, fuck you, man.
It happens all the time at Denny's.
Yeah, because I'm paying a lot. But like, if I go to somewhere like Denny's and the place is packed, you know what? I don't really give a fuck, man.
Okay.
I would still tip you. I understand what you're going through because for one, they're probably understaffing. For two, they're not training right. For three, you're just out here making it like no money at all. So it's like, dude, I get it. But I understand what you're saying. If you give shitty service, you're gonna get a lesser tip. But I'm still going to probably tip a little bit.
But they're shortcutting themselves on the revenue side, too. Why would you want to bring someone their ticket when they're still eating? What if I wanted dessert? What if I wanted to order more coffee?
But that cuts their tip already. So
it cuts their profits and it cuts their tip.
Yeah. Because
but if that's the sign of the ticket hitting the table to me,
you should still get 5%.
I'm done serving you, and if I'm not done, if I'm not done with you,
right? That's
you basically projecting onto me that you're working, and I'm working on your time.
And I understand your concept because, like, yeah, I'm gonna pay you less, but you still have to remember these are human beings and they need money too.
They need to understand the industry. Though.
It's part of their job, and like, just pay them 5%. See, if I get really good service, I'll usually tip.
I'll go above and beyond for really good service.
If I get decent service, I'll typically do 20%.
I've left $100 tip before.
Yeah. Well, so like usually that, and then like if the service is better and better and better, I'll move up from there.
Now let me.
But like if I get really bad service, it's 5 or 10%. I'm still gonna tip like a little bit
for bad service.
Yeah.
You're making it bad you're making the rest of us look bad. There is no way in hell I'm going to tip you for bad service.
If it's really, really, really bad, then yeah, I'm not going to tip.
There's a difference between bad service and a packed restaurant. If it's a packed restaurant, that's different. But let me throw it back to the Denny's thing. I've been in Denny's where there's been
what you're saying doesn't sound really bad.
It doesn't sound bad, but there were 2 other tables in there, and she still, and it was at 10 o'clock at night, and she still brought me my tip. She literally brought the check 5 seconds after she put the entree down.
Yeah, but that doesn't sound that bad. She's still giving you drinks, right? She's still checking up on you?
No, they don't have to.
Okay.
That's part of their training. Once the ticket hits the table, that table's closed out. They don't have to come back and refresh your drink. And I remember...
Then yeah, screw you.
9 out of 10 times when the ticket has hit the table before I'm done eating, I always have to physically go find the waitress or a waitress to get my drinks refilled. I'm one of those guys that when I go to a restaurant, I want to sit down and have a conversation. I want to sit and chill and chillax and relax, have coffee, maybe have some soda. I don't go just to eat and blow, not at a restaurant.
Let me tell you my ideal situation, because a waiter can be overbearing. I'm sorry, I keep looking over there. It's just
no. That's what you're supposed to do.
But because a waiter can be overbearing, they can check on you too much, and you could be like,
"That's another card."
Here's my ideal situation when I go to a restaurant.
Ideal restaurant situation by Jake.
They come, they sit us down, they give us a menu, and then the waiter comes up after a couple seconds, right? Mm-hmm. They ask for drinks. That's the first thing. Just ask me for my drink. They walk away. They give me the drink. They come back with the drink. They say, "Are you guys ready to order food?" We order food, and they go. They bring us the food, ask if we want another drink. They walk away. They come back again, want another drink. How is everything?
Yeah.
They walk away. They come back. Do you guys want dessert? No. Give me my check. Do you guys want another drink? Walk away. We pay. That's ideal.
That's ideal. It does not happen.
Yeah.
Because in the restaurant industry,
standard.
It seems standard, but look, and let me give a little.
Just follow these rules. If you're a waiter, just follow those rules.
Let me give you a little
simple.
Let me give you a little background as well. I come from a family of restaurateurs, so I understand the restaurant industry. So I'm not speaking out of just a horseassery. I'm speaking of what I know the restaurant industry. I'm very much involved in the food industry, both professionally and as a fan. So I know what's expected. Now, I understand like Denny's and Waffle House and places, restaurant places like that. You know, they're not going to be the most friendliest or the highest trained people, but there's still a level of basic decorum that they know when that check hits that table, they're done. And when they do that, they're telling us, the customer, that they are done serving us. Now, has there been situations where someone has come over after the check is hit and offered water? Yeah, absolutely. In those cases, then yes, I will do a 5%er.
It's a gray area there.
It's a gray area, but still, I stand on the fact that that's my number one deal. Don't give me the check while I'm eating. What about, and all my friends know this, and when it happens, they all look at me like, oh shit.
Yeah, I've had some really bad service. But like, what if like, let's say you're like almost done eating. It looks like you're almost done eating. You're not quite done eating. They come up to you and they say, do you want dessert? And then you're like, no, it's good. And then they hand you the check. What about that?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you're just being
an ass?
Yeah.
No.
I really do.
You come up to me, you say, do I want dessert? No, but I'm still eating. So how do you know I'm not going to be thirsty? Or how do you know I'm not going to change my mind? A good server knows their table, knows their customers, and is watching plates.
Listen, man,
it's called plate watching. You watch the plates. When the plates are pushed away, why I said, like, when you hit, that's when the check hits.
It looks like you're almost done. And because they know if you're at a fucking Denny's, you probably want to get out of there. Because you don't want to fucking chill in a Denny's.
I do want to chill in a Denny's. I chilled in Denny's all through high school.
Like, I don't know, man.
But I know I'm the outlier on this, man. I know I'm on the outside looking in, but that's my thing, man. I've always been that way. I don't want the check to hit the table before I'm done eating my meal.
And I am saying you're a dick.
I own it then. I am a dick. Fine. So be it. There are a lot of people that disagree with me on that, but that's the way I understand. When you go to a reputable restaurant, it doesn't happen.
There's been 2 times where I haven't tipped someone. 2 times. That's it.
There's been 2 times that I've tipped someone that didn't deserve to be tipped. Because I'm a hard ass on that.
I'll almost always give at least 5%.
No.
Because I mean, dude, 5% is like nothing.
No, I want to wait.
It's just the way the pay structure is in America, dude. If I was in Europe or something, yeah, I'm not gonna fucking tip because gratuity is already built into it. But that's just not the way it is here. Because they're not getting paid for that gratuity that they should already just be rightfully making by working there in the first place. So you got to think about that.
I don't think about that because if someone is working in an industry where they know how the pay structure is and they're dependent upon my tips in order to survive, they need to rethink their career choices.
I mean, it's not a fucking career choice to work at a Denny's.
It's not a career choice to work at a Denny's. So why do I have to compensate you for bad service or for doing something that I do not like?
And listen, the reason you have to compensate them is because we're supposed to be good people and the fucking corporations aren't. And that's why you do it, because we're supposed to be good people, Cory.
I tip good. I am a good person. I tip. I do tip. Unless you put the check down before I'm done eating.
Listen, there was one time I went to...
if you put the check down before I'm done eating, fuck you.
I went to a restaurant, I won't say. All right, it was Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay, but, here goes another potential sponsor out of the window.
But if they give us money, it'll be Chili's that I went to.
My son's girlfriend works at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Listen, this happened at B-Dubs.
B-Dubs.
But if they give us money, This happened at Native New Yorker. Okay.
Or at Cane's Chicken Fingers.
I don't think you tip at Cane's. I wouldn't.
No, it's a fast food.
Yeah.
I would tip at both of those places, Native New Yorker or B-Dubs, because B-Dubs is a clusterfuck of a restaurant.
Yeah.
Because there's and I'm not saying because of the service, but the way that it's designed, those service people are running around like crazy. That's a crazy place. Yeah. I don't go in. I think I've probably been in B-Dubs maybe 4 times in its entire existence. I don't like B-Dubs. I don't like that atmosphere.
Loud. Yeah.
Way too loud. That's another thing. We'll get to that. We could do a whole show on restaurants, bro.
I know, dude.
Because loud restaurants.
How did we get from poker to food?
I hate fucking loud restaurants.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I think
it's fun sometimes.
Is it wrong to want to go and chill nowadays? Is it wrong to want... I'm a coffee house guy. Why? Because you go to the coffee house, they got big, huge fucking chairs. You can sit there, you can suck down $9 coffees.
Just go to Marie Callender's, you old woman.
I like to go to places and chill and hang out.
Do you ever go to a place, let's say like a sub sandwich place, and it has the little tip thing there, or you can give them cash or whatever.
Like a Subway or a Blimpies or a boutique sub sandwich place.
Yeah, like Jersey Mike's or whatever.
Okay,
or like
a corporate place. Yeah, I will not tip at a corporate place.
But let's say
mom and pop. Yes.
Hold on. Let's say you go into this place. Yeah. Typically, when I go to a mom and pop place, I'm gonna tip.
I'm gonna tip mom and pop because it's a small business, and I'm a small business owner, and I want to support small.
I'm gonna
businesses.
tip anyway, especially if I've been there before and the food's good. Yes, I'll just tip you.
JT Gyros on 35th Avenue and Greenway. Shout out.
Let's say this happened to me at B-Dubs actually, because this is why I'm bringing it up.
B-Dubs?
I ordered a pickup, which normally I wouldn't tip because that's just my rule. But I went in and the lady that was there was just very friendly and very helpful, and was asking me what I needed. She went and got me extra sauces and got me extra carrots and all this stuff. And I gave her a tip because I just thought she did a really good job, Has that ever happened to you? Where you broke your own rule because you're just well...
No, never have I ever tipped for a food pickup. Never have I ever, because 9 out of 10 times when I do a food pickup, the food is never at temperature. Mm-hmm. Never.
But if you experience what I just stated, would you think about it?
No.
Okay.
Because why am I going to tip you for taking 10 steps? If anything, I should tip the cook.
I mean, it's $1.50 that I gave her. It wasn't you know what I mean?
But still, if anything, I should tip the cook. The cook did most of the work.
Right.
The lady at the counter literally just grabbed the bag out of the warmer and put it in front of me.
Nowadays, tips are usually split with cooks.
Yeah, but then they're still going to people that didn't do anything.
But I just said that she was doing stuff.
Did she cook the food?
She didn't cook the food, but she helped me out a lot.
Okay. Well, I mean, if she helped you out and she went above and beyond,
she gave me a rub down in the bathroom.
Then you gave her a nice tip.
I don't think $1.50 is worth that.
If that's on you. I would never do it. I would never tip a food pickup. That was one thing that I wrote down. I was just making a note. Pickups. With so much now, everybody has an app. Everybody has a website. Denny's is one place. I am really good at. I don't like going into Denny's when they're packed. I will order food online and go and pick it up.
Yeah.
Never a tip.
I hate going into like a Denny's and there's just a long line of people.
I don't know why you winked at me right now, but
there's a long line of people and then there's an old woman behind you and you're like, hey, you want to cut in line? This is such an inside joke.
It's horrible. It's such an inside joke. I don't even get it.
Really?
I know. I don't know where you're going with this.
You don't get the joke. Earlier today, you're like, I want to talk about lines and letting people cut it.
Oh, yes.
I was trying to give you a segue.
Oh, thank you.
I just thought it was really funny.
It was horribly done. I did not follow it.
That's why I winked.
I was like, what the hell does that mean?
Oh, shit.
But you're right. So we mentioned it earlier. We mentioned it earlier that I went on the way here to get hummus and pita chips and Triscuits. So
funny.
I went into the store, and it will remain nameless because the store that I went to is tied to this studio company that we're using right now. So it will go nameless because this story is not a shining moment for them. But some reason they had
fries.
They had
Target.
They had the self-checkout shut down.
Uh-huh.
And only had one cashier and a line wrapped around the front of the store late at night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Walmart. It has to be Walmart.
I'm standing there, and I got in line, and there was this other lady that went up to another cashier that had just shut down. So they had two when I walked in, and then one cashier shut down. So this lady, we basically both went up to the cashier line at the same time. She went to check out one. I went to check out stand two because I noticed that checkout stand one's light was blinking, and that's always a sign that something's either wrong or they're about to close that. So she went there.
Everyone in line will finish, and then that's it.
Right. Yeah. Well, they didn't let her get into that line. They sent her back out. So she got in line behind me. It was a long wait.
Mm-hmm.
It was a long wait. 4 or 5 other people ended up getting in line behind her. So then finally another cashier wakes up out of the corner and comes over and gets on register 3 and opens up register 3. The couple that was in front of me goes over. I could have been an asshole and tried to jump in front of them, but I didn't because they've been waiting as long as or a little longer than I would. So they got in line, and then I heard the lady behind me say, "Oh, now I'm moving to a third line." So I turned around to the lady, and I said, "Ma'am, I noticed that you went over to that other line. You've got a few things. Do you just want to go in front of me?" And when I said that, the people that were in line behind her gave me the old stink eye.
Why? It doesn't even affect them.
If you really think about it, it does.
How?
Because I let her go in front of me, essentially letting her go in front of her, kind of like changing out the order. But they gave me the old stink eye, and I really didn't understand why.
Yeah, it doesn't affect them at all.
They were like, "Why are you being nice to this girl? We've all been waiting here." Their looks on their face said, "Why are you wanting to allow her to cut in front? We've all been waiting here the same amount of time."
And you're like, "Listen, first of all, I want to fuck. I'm trying to smash."
No. That was the furthest from what I was trying to do. Is I was just trying to be a nice guy because she went to the cashier 1 and he was closed. He was closing down. Mm-hmm. I went to cashier 2. Cashier 2 was still opening. So I was just being nice. But the people behind her, when that overheard me say, "Man, would you like to go in front of me?" They gave me the stink eye. Like, well, why can't we cut?
They had carts full of shit too, huh?
They didn't. No, they didn't have carts because it was kind of late at night.
Just picking up a couple things.
They were just picking up a couple of things, and they're picking up hummus and chocolate cake. And I just looked at the lady, and she didn't even have a basket. She didn't even have one of those little personal baskets. I just looked at her and I said, "Now she didn't cut in line. She didn't go. She refused to do it."
Mm-hmm.
But while I was trying to negotiate with her, the people behind her were giving me the nasties,
dude,
man.
I've just noticed like in recent years,
I figured they were all Trump supporters.
That's a callback. I've noticed in recent years, like people are just like way more rude in public, and I have a theory on why, and I don't want to mention it because we've talked about it on every goddamn episode, and I'm trying to avoid it. But yeah, like okay, so I won't say like where I work but I'll like what I do. I'm a caregiver,
right?
And one of my guys is in a wheelchair.
Uh-huh.
And you'd think if a dude's in a wheelchair, you'd get out of his goddamn way, right?
You would think.
That doesn't happen anymore.
No, common courtesy.
Like 5 years ago or 6 years ago, when I would take him to the store or whatever, people would get out of our way and like, understand like, hey, this guy needs a little bit more room than us.
We live in a new society called me.
Well, and it's, I don't know.
When I go out in public, dude, I say it all the time. And you know what? I'm a big, dark-skinned black guy. I will look at somebody that's being an asshole in a minute. Like a lady that will be in the grocery store, put her shopping cart like in the middle of the aisle while she goes over and picks lemons.
All the time.
And you know what I look at her? I look at her and I say as loud as I can, others. Hey, lady. Hell, others. Dude, there's other people in this world other than you.
You know what I fucking hate? This has been happening a lot lately. Stores, they're starting to like put things in the middle of the aisles to like try and bring extra attention.
Yeah, those are called marketing traps.
Yeah. And why? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, because they want you to trip over them. Because if you trip over them and you notice them, the probability of you buying that item jumps by probably 85%.
Like I just said, I've got a dude in a wheelchair and we're trying to slip past these freaking things that are in the middle of the aisle. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, get them out of the way or I'm going to stop going to your store and start ordering on Amazon.
That's what they want you to do, but those
no,
things,
they don't want us to go to Amazon. They should listen to me and stop doing that shit.
They're not going to do that because dude, I know friends. I know people that work for companies that design the retail map is what they call it. The retail map where they have you ever noticed that when you go to a grocery store?
Yeah, I know all about that.
Right. That's when they do those marketing traps are in the middle too. But I understand that they're tripping up people in wheelchairs or they're tripping up people. What about the little 400-pound lady that's in that little grocery cart scooter?
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to get down to the steaks and she can't because there's a freaking Triscuit thing in the middle.
Yeah, and if you're putting shit at the entrance of the store, that's one thing. You know?
Oh God! I'm glad you brought that up.
There's plenty of room to get around it. Yes. But like in the middle of an aisle that's already tight, and then you're putting shit like a bunch of cans or whatever the hell it is. I don't know, man. It's so frustrating.
I'm with you, but I agree that people have gotten less sensitive.
You know, and back to that point, you know what I think it is? I think people just don't know
Trump.
No, because I think this started actually before Trump.
Obama.
It's nothing to do with politics.
I know. I'm just trying to swing it that way.
I just think people don't know how to act in public anymore because people spend so little time in public spaces now.
People don't know how to act. You know what? That's a really good observation.
Because people spend a lot more time either at their house or their friend's house. They don't really go out anymore.
Everything comes to us now.
Yeah, we order things. We don't go to stores. Your food comes to us.
Your cars are delivered to you.
So like people just don't know common courtesy anymore. And like, you know, the younger generation is coming up and they grew up with, you know, my generation, the millennials, who were already starting to like just start to order shit online and stuff. So like they have no idea what it's like to be out in public.
You know what? You make a really good observation. We have lost the ability to be able to assimilate to everyday culture because of the fact that everything is in our hands. Everything is in our pockets. There's no need for us to. We don't even talk to anybody. Everything's a text messaging, electronic communication now.
Yeah.
We text, we email, we Snapchat. And that's 15 seconds of interaction, and you're still in your own private space when you do that. We don't know how to commune. Well, the word we're looking for here is commune. Real quick sidebar. You were talking about when you walk into a grocery store and there's all that kind of stuff at the entrance. I have a picture of something that I walked into a grocery store and it scared the crap out of me.
Oh God, it's the dude from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, he was standing at the entrance of this grocery store. God. I saw this thing, and this was at 10:35 at night when I went, crapped my pants when I saw that thing.
Game of Thrones ended like a year ago. What are they doing?
This was January, right before the Super Bowl, because you can see the Super Bowl side of it.
Oh, I see.
But this was a while back, but I just thought about it when you mentioned. But dude, you make a very good point. Our conveniences, our DoorDashes, our Amazons, our caravan or whatever that car delivery app is, everything has now taken away,
and it's getting more and more
the commonality of being able to just commune with people.
Now it's like
common courtesies.
There's like Harry's where you can just order razors online, which if we love you, Harry's, if you want to give us money.
Oh, here we go. Now we're angling for sponsors.
If you know, we don't like you as much if Dollar Shave Club wants to give us money instead.
You double down, man. Double down on the potential spot. You do realize where we are, where we're taping this show. There is potentials for sponsors, and you're just alienating yourself.
They're not listening.
You never know.
They're not listening.
They aren't listening because we're here at 1 a.m. in the morning where nobody else is here.
Yeah, but like, yeah, so you can order your razors online, and now there's
your condoms.
Yeah,
your dates, your blow up dolls.
Well, and then there's those new services where they literally send you food, like
DoorDash,
not DoorDash, like prepackaged food that you can make yourself.
Oh yeah, Fresh Smart.
Yeah, HelloFresh. Yeah, so like they send you ingredients and all that stuff. So like you don't have to go out at all.
And then if you need pots and pans to cook those ingredients from HelloFresh, you can get them from Amazon.
Yeah.
Or any other delivery service. All of your clothes are Macy's. I love shopping at Macy's.
Yeah.
But I shop at Macy's online because I'm a big dude. They don't have any big guy sizes in their store. So I can go to their store, find a style of something that I want, go on through Macy's.com and order it, and it's delivered to my house.
I have this theory, though. I think this could potentially be a good thing that all these big companies are dying, like Macy's and Sears recently. You know, malls are dying out for sure.
They are definitely dying. Yeah, there are several. There was one big mall organization here in Arizona that's filing for bankruptcy.
Really?
Yeah.
Like we have a few malls in Arizona, like Arizona Mills is kind of falling apart.
Christown Mall is pretty much going away, other than Walmart coming and kind of saved half of it.
Yeah.
But the other half of it is failing.
I think if a Walmart comes into your mall, you're pretty much done for.
I think so too, because they can totally easily. You know what I predict for that Metro Center area? It'll be that Walmart,
and they'll tear
everything else down, and it'll become condominiums.
Or they'll just turn it like into a smaller shopping center or a church or whatever the hell,
or a business center.
Yeah.
I've seen Park Central Mall, the back end of it became all business center.
Yeah.
When Park Central Mall used to be the leading mall in the metropolitan area.
Yeah, Metro Center's another one. That one's like almost completely
dead.
Out. And we have one mall that's sort of remaining over in our area, and that one's next.
Arrowhead?
Yeah.
You think Arrowhead's going down?
Yeah, I heard one said Anchor Store, which is one of the big ones.
Yeah.
Once an Anchor store closes, you're pretty much screwed unless you get it filled. And I hear one of the Anchors is closing, and Sears just closed.
And I think that mall over there, Arrowhead Mall, I think is part of that. There's two big mall companies that operate all of the malls. I can't remember what their names are, but I think Arrowhead Mall is part of the company that is filing for bankruptcy, Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. But you know what? I hate malls, and I'm okay with that mall closing. That corridor of Arrowhead, and for those of you that don't live in Arizona or don't know the Peoria area, that corridor of Arrowhead between 67th Avenue and the 101 on Bell Road, that place over there is a clusterfuck. There's a street light every 3 blocks.
Yeah, it's hellish. Oh,
I'm not talking about city blocks. I'm talking about 3 blocks of sidewalk.
Yeah.
There is a stoplight. Every entrance to every store or parking lot has its own stoplight.
And literally
and it's a half a mile stretch of road.
If Black Friday comes around, dude, don't even go over there.
Holidays, don't even think about it.
Yeah.
I went for my son's birthday, or for my son's Christmas present.
And this is another reason online stores are thriving. It's not that people don't want to go out. It's that they don't want to deal with that hassle.
They don't want to deal with that crap. I went to that mall, Arrowhead Mall, because it is close to my home.
Yeah.
I went to Arrowhead Mall for my son's Christmas presents because I wanted to buy him. We were at that mall earlier in November, and he fell in love. He loves this what's this stuff called? Hero Macadamia Nut.
Oh, My Hero Academia.
Yeah, that too. So
I love My Hero Academia.
He loves Hero Macadamia Nut stuff.
Yeah.
So we were in Spencer's, and he went crazy for it. So for Christmas, I went back to Spencer's at Arrowhead Mall and had like 2 associates helping me find everything in that store that had My Hero Macadamia Nut on it, and I bought everything that they had in the store, and that was what his Christmas gift was. But I went to that mall at 11:30 in the morning. Now, it was around the holidays. It was towards the beginning of December.
Right.
But I went to that mall at 11, and it was a cluster F.
On a weekend?
On a weekday.
Yeah, that's wild.
It was Thursday.
Yeah, if it was weekend, I'd be like, yeah, no.
Thursday at 11 o'clock, and that mall was crazy. And it took me 20 minutes just to go a half a block.
But, yeah, that's nuts.
I would not be sore if that if that mall closed. And the only reason why I went back there is because that's where he geeked out when he saw everything. So I said, okay, I'll go back to that store because I know that there's stuff there that he wants. And he got everything My Hero Macadamia Nut.
And I think it could potentially be a good thing. At first, it's going to be really bad. All these stores closing.
Shock and awe because it's change and different.
It's change, and we're going to probably lose quite a few jobs in the process. But
true. But then Amazon's hiring up the street.
There's that. But then I also think this leaves a pretty good opportunity for a rise of mom and pop shops to start dominating again. Which
the boutique shops.
Right, because I think people are looking for any sort of excuse to get out of their house. I think Barnes & Noble may close down, but I think that leaves a perfect opportunity for a bunch of smaller book places, which is potentially better than a Barnes & Noble because, listen, the thing you're missing with a Barnes & Noble, and you go to a Barnes & Noble, it's the same books. It's all of them have the same books, the same selection. Mm. You go to a smaller bookshop, they all have their own personality and their own sort of thing that they're interested in. A different selection of books. It's always fun to explore them, and I think people are desperate for that sort of thing. Comic book shops are kind of making a comeback right now.
I agree with you.
So I think if these bigger shops close, this is great for small business owners.
I think that what we're seeing, and I agree with you, and one of the ways to prove what you're saying is true is that the Mall of Americas are going away, and you're seeing an uprising in boutique shops. You're seeing an uprising in farmers markets. Yep. Have you noticed how farmers markets have exploded? Because people are wanting that uniqueness. People are wanting that one of a kind thing, and you're not going to get it from the big box stores.
Yeah, and you're not going to get the fresh food that you want from these places either.
And me being a amateur chef, I love hitting farmers markets.
Yeah,
I hate getting up so early in the morning to go, but I love hitting farmers markets. But I believe because we're seeing a rise in the boutique places, like with restaurants, all these boutique restaurants that are opening up. When we do a restaurant show, dude, I got to talk about the 7th Street corridor in downtown Phoenix, where all of these amazing new restaurants are just popping up out of nowhere. Food Network stars coming in, opening up restaurants.
Over on 7th Street.
7th Street and Bethany and Indian School and Camelback. All of those places that are popping up over there. And then one of my favorite restaurants is over there, Hula's Modern Tiki. Shout out to them.
I love Joyride Tacos.
Love them. And you've got 611 Burger Grill over there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of little bitty places, but I believe what you're saying is 100% accurate.
Windsor.
That people want, I haven't been to Windsor yet. People want unique and different.
Yep.
And you don't get unique. And that's where malls miss the mark.
And those restaurants are they're the same price as going to a McDonald's at this point.
They are.
And they taste way better. It's way more delicious. And you get to have this really cool experience every time you go.
Except when they bring you the check before you're done eating.
Right. I'm a huge gamer. I feel like I have to throw it out every episode.
You're a huge what?
Gamer.
Oh, I thought you said Gaber. I was like, what's a Gaber?
I also love Gabe. They call me the Gaber.
Gaber.
No, I'm a huge gamer. I feel like I have to throw it out because we don't talk a lot about games on this show in particular. But one of the big gaming companies where people typically go to either pre-order or buy their current games, their current consoles, is called GameStop. I'm sure you've even heard of it.
I have 4 children, of course.
Yeah. So GameStop is slowly on their way out. They're going to close soon. And right now, I think they've already closed thousands of their stores across the country. Right now, I think they're just holding on to the new consoles come out this year, and I think they're just holding on for dear life until the consoles come out for maybe another little boom for them.
Mm-hmm.
But, and God bless their souls, and... it sucks for everyone losing their job, and GameStop has been great to me. I've always enjoyed going there. I've had a lot of great experiences there, but them closing kind of opens up this market for these smaller game companies or smaller shops that enjoy video games to start opening up. They can sell retro stuff along with the newer games. So then they have a diverse pool of things to sell. Cause right now it's if you want a new game, you go to GameStop, and if you want retro games, you find a mom and pop shop. But now a mom and pop shop will also be selling new games. They don't have to compete with GameStop anymore. it's just great. We'll see more and more mom and pop shops for video games start to open up, and we'll see this with all sorts of different markets. I think I see it as a potentially good thing.
Now, one thing that makes the Jake and Cory podcast so interesting is that you and I are two different people, immensely two different people. What killed GameStop? Because I remember when my younger son, AJ, was 12, 13 years old, we walked by GameStop and he would literally just want
to go in.
He would want to go in and he would buy
I'm still like that
tangible physical game.
Yeah.
Now I'm giving him Microsoft download gift cards.
So that's part of it.
So what's killed GameStop?
So there's a couple factors here when it comes to why GameStop is failing. For one, yeah, a lot of games are being sold digitally now. And with the new consoles, I'm sure things are going to... Xbox just released a console without a disc drive. So you can only buy digital games. The new wave of video games is going... It's becoming like Netflix, where you're actually streaming games, which right now is not perfect because there's lag there with your video games, but it's getting there. It's getting close. So that's the future of games. So you won't even need these places.
So is that what's killed GameStop?
No.
Because I can't tell you the last time my kid bought a physical game.
There's these two factors. There's also that Best Buy has great rewards. So if you want to go to Best Buy, they have a really good rewards program. The other big one is Amazon, because you can just order your games on Amazon and they do day and date. So when the game comes out, it's at your door and you just start downloading it.
Wow,
so
I didn't know that.
So why would you go to GameStop if you could just have the game delivered to your door? And it's not like GameStop really has any sort of magical experience when you walk in there.
No, it's normally very crowded.
Not anymore.
No.
I don't know.
Like I said, the last time I went to GameStop was when when AJ was 14, 15 years old. He's 19 years old now.
Yeah, and there's always people in GameStop trying to upsell you on shit. And
that's the worst part.
It's just like, it's just like, why would you want to go there when I can just order the games online or buy them digitally?
I used to make them just go to the back wall where they had the $5, $10 games.
It's funny because I used to buy all my games through GameStop because they had a rewards program and I had points. But nowadays, I don't even go to GameStop. If I'm going to buy a physical copy of a game, I'll just go to Walmart, dude.
I was about to say that. Isn't the big box stores, don't they have their game?
The only thing that GameStop has on Walmart is that they sell used games. So you can buy the games at a discount.
Used games that they rob somebody for.
Right.
Because I remember
and then they overcharge us for it.
Right. My kid tried to sell a game to GameStop one time. It was like a $40 game and he got maybe $5 for it.
Yeah. And
then it was on the shelves for $45.
That's the thing too, is like if you're buying a used game from GameStop, it's not even that much of a savings.
So did GameStop miss the mark? Did GameStop miss the market shift like Blockbuster did? They missed the market shift.
Yeah, they really should have built up their online infrastructure much quicker than they have, which they do kind of have that now. Because I actually do think GameStop could hang on as an online service only for a while if they just have a few warehouses. But I think as far as their like brick and mortar shops, like they're gonna be gone within. I'd say with the new consoles, they'll have a little bit of a boom because I think people will go to GameStop to buy the consoles. But I think in like 2 years they're going to be gone.
I'm so old. If someone was to come up to me right now and say, "Hey, can you buy me this video game?" My first mindset would be to go to GameStop.
And that's fine.
Because back in the day, that's where it was.
I think currently that's how they're thriving is if you go to like let's say like an upper class neighborhood and there's a GameStop, I'm guaranteed that GameStop is doing pretty well.
There's several there's two in my area.
Yeah, because it's just these like richer parents or grandparents going to buy their kids or grandkids games.
Right. And I live in North Phoenix.
And they don't know anything, so they go in and they talk to the person.
Sure.
But that's why I think GameStop closing could be a very good thing, because I think a parent going into like a mom and pop game shop could be much more informational for the parent, for one. They're not trying to They might try to upsell you depending on where you go.
They always do.
But if it's a mom and pop shop, they usually just have a care for it. You know what I mean? And
if someone asked me to buy a game, I would. Yeah. I experienced some gaming tonight. I was at work, and a couple of the college students were playing this game, and I had no idea. So they whipped out this thing that looked like a large phone.
Oh, the Nintendo Switch.
And it had 2 controllers on the side, but then he broke the controllers off, and he gave one to his friend, and he played, and then his other friend came up with a full-size wireless controller, and he connected that, but then he also had another
pair of the Joy-Cons.
Another thing that he pulled his controllers off, and there was literally 8 of them huddled around this little 10-inch screen.
They were playing Smash Brothers, weren't they?
Playing Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
And they were all huddled around, and I was sitting there like, what the hell? I am so out of touch when it comes to video games.
Yeah, that's the Nintendo Switch. I got mine in my car. And also, also with that thing, it's got a little dock, and you can plug it into the dock, and it just flashes up to your TV. So
that's insane.
You can play it on your TV too.
See,
it's really awesome, dude.
I'm so old. When I want to play, when I think of playing a video game, I think of taking the cartridge out of the plastic, blowing into the bottom of it, and sticking it into the Nintendo, hoping that it connects and the gun fires at the ducks. That's how old I am.
Yeah, Duck Hunt is great.
I love Duck Hunt.
Are you on a time crunch, or can we keep going for a while?
I'm not on a time crunch. I don't have a life.
Because I think we've already been going for over an hour.
We definitely have been. But it's longer. We have now hit the time mark of every other show I'm a part of.
But I have a topic that I really want to talk about.
Go for it.
Big Papa.
All right, show over, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. No, I'm kidding.
You got to play the music. No, Big Papa Bobby Iger.
Oh yeah, you were arcing lows over this story.
Yeah, dude, I think this is huge news.
Okay,
because in America, I feel like it goes the president of the United States.
We don't have one right now, but okay.
But like as far as like importance, like him or dislike him, he's a pretty important figure, right?
True.
It goes, the president, and then the CEO of Disney.
And then God.
Yeah, and then God's below them. So
how dare you, sir?
I feel like it's a pretty big news story, I think. And especially for a guy, do you know anything about Bob Iger?
I don't know anything about Bob Iger, no.
So, do you know who the previous CEO was? Do you remember that at all? I could give you a little history lesson.
You're going to have to give me a little history lesson because, again, like we established last episode, I am afraid of the mouse. I am afraid of anything.
Well, I hope you're not too afraid to actually talk about this topic.
I love Disney, but I know that there has been a lot of controversy going around this firing or letting go or changing of the guards at Disney.
I see. It's interesting you say firing because I was going to ask you why you think he's leaving.
The reports that I've seen and some of the stuff and I'm talking about stuff like on Twitter.
I have my own theory.
Instagram and stuff like that. I haven't really dove into it, but just stuff that I've just scanned by. I guess there was some consternation going on at the top, and he had to go.
So here's my theory on that whole thing.
Okay.
And he is staying as executive chairman of the board until the end of 2021. So he's still around with Disney. So that makes it seem like he didn't necessarily get fired. Which I don't know how you fire a CEO anyway, but I guess the board could.
When you have a board, you can fire a CEO.
Yeah, I guess the board could. But why would they let him on the board if the board fired him? So first of all, let me just say, Bob Iger has been the most successful CEO of Disney since Walt Disney himself. Bob Iger.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah. He is easily the most important CEO of Walt Disney Company since Walt Disney himself. Walt Disney and Roy Disney, obviously. he took over in 2006. And if you remember, before 2006, can you think of a single Disney movie that came out from the year 2000 to 2006?
Toy Story.
Well, that came out in the 90s, and technically that was a Pixar movie.
That was Pixar.
And they just partnered with Disney at the time.
I think that was like the blackout time of Disney because everything was locked away in the vault.
So the big movies that came out from like the 2000s to 2006 were Emperor's New Groove, which I love that movie, but it wasn't necessarily a successful movie.
No, it was not.
They had Atlantis came out, movies like that, Chicken Little. They also purchased Miramax, which was pretty cool. So they did have Miramax. We won't talk about Harvey Weinstein, though. Yeah, Harvey Weinstein's connected to Disney. Go figure. But he's not connected if Disney wants to give us some money. All right. I'm sorry. I'm taking too long to explain my theory here.
No, I'm following you because I don't know much about it, so much detail is going to help me.
But I think it's important that I mention that. And also during that time, the 2006 area, late mid 90s to 2006, you saw the opening of Euro Disney.
Yes.
The park, which is now called Disneyland Paris, but at the time it was Euro Disney, which was a colossal failure, if you remember.
I somewhat remember something.
They have recovered it thanks to Bob Iger. He turned it around. California Adventure opened in that time frame. California Adventure, if you remember, was a colossal failure.
I do, because I went to California Adventure.
And it was lame, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've gone recently.
No.
I don't know if you've gone recently, but they have completely turned it around.
It's been 10 years since I've gone because I took the kids and it was 9.
You should go again because they have completely turned it around. It's great.
They have Cars Land now.
And the reason it got fixed, Big Bobby Iger.
Big Bobby Iger.
The movie started turning around. We got Frozen in Bob Iger's time.
Well, you got to let it go.
We got Tangled in Bob Iger's time. When he took over Disney, he bought Marvel.
He bought back Pixar, didn't he?
He didn't buy them back, but he did buy Pixar.
Right.
Because at the time they were just partnering. So he bought Pixar. He bought Star Wars. These are all incredibly huge franchises that this man has created. So if you go back to the previous CEO...
One more detail about Bob Iger. Registered independent.
Good for him.
He used to be a Democrat.
Good for him.
Until 2016, he went independent.
Well, and that's the theory is that he might run for president next time, which would be nuts. But so the previous president or CEO of Disney, his name was Michael Eisner.
Okay.
And Michael Eisner had a pretty good tenure as the CEO. He what's called the animation renaissance of Disney happened with, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Hercules, Aladdin. All these big movies came out. The parks were all doing really well. The brand itself was just doing really well. The problem...
he also bought in Lucasfilms and 21st Century Fox.
That's right. And Fox,
just last year.
Fox just happened.
Last year.
Lucasfilms was Star Wars, which is what I mentioned.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. He also did just buy Fox, which is huge. It's massive. He also... Oh, man, I could just rant about Bob Iger and what he's done.
And he's behind the new recent Disney Plus streaming service.
They have a majority sharehold in Hulu. They own ESPN because of Bob Iger. It's just Bob Iger's done amazing things. But back to Michael Eisner, he did some pretty good things as well. But then at the end of the tenure, and all anyone remembers him for is for the failure of California Adventure, the failure of Euro Disney, the failure of the animation department, the lack of just films in general. And that's all anyone really sees him for. And I think the reason Bob Iger is getting out right now, and why he's like, I need to get out now, because it wasn't like I'm retiring in a year. He's like, I am out effective immediately. And I think the reason is it's because he sees the impending doom that's coming for Disney.
You think?
And when I say doom, I don't think Disney's going to go under or file for bankruptcy or anything like that. But I do see a colossal decline in the upcoming Disney brand.
So you're
as a whole.
Are you thinking of putting them in the same environment of Apple when Steve Jobs passed away? Because when Steve Jobs passed away, the company has not been the same. They've been chasing the technology industry since Steve Jobs is passing. Now, I'm not saying Bob Iger passed, but I'm saying Bob Iger is no longer at the helm.
Right. And him stepping down, and if he saw the impending doom coming, him stepping down right now and the impending doom that was going to come regardless just makes it seem like it happened because he stepped down.
Now, Inc. magazine...
because like the question with Steve Jobs is, would that have happened regardless of Steve Jobs' death? You know, if he was still alive, would they still be successful, or would that have happened either way?
I think
there's no way to know.
There's no way to know, but I think it would have been a lot more successful because Steve Jobs had a leader mentality like Bob Iger, like the one you just explained to Bob Iger. Steve Jobs was at the leading point of turning this company around and being at the helm of leading the technology revolution, where Bob Iger was, when he stepped in, he turned Disney around and made it better. Inc. magazine, their headline reads, Disney CEO Bob Iger has resigned. His reason is a powerful lesson in self-awareness and leadership.
Because he thinks he's doing a bad job.
Or does he see the impending doom that you just mentioned?
Right. He wants to end on top. And that's really what I believe, because I think there is an impending doom for Mickey Mouse right now.
Oh, the mouse.
The mouse.
It seems
unfathomable. Like I said, I can give you some reasons if you'd like.
It seems like I could not imagine a world without Disney.
This has been racking my brain for like the past.
But there is that element of being too big.
Right.
And failing because you basically topple within yourself because you've gotten too large.
Yeah. And I don't see Disney flopping or going under, like I said, but I do see them taking a huge hit soon.
When did what day did he retire or he leave? Do we know?
I think it was Tuesday.
And that was after the price hike for Disney California one-day tickets.
Yeah, that was after that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that happened a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that sucked.
But so, if you'd like, I could give you a list of reasons why I think Disney is going to implode soon.
Yo show, baby.
It's our show, baby.
Yes.
Number one.
I
was going to make a video about this. I probably still will, but I just kind of want to, I just want to talk to you about it because I want an outsider's perspective.
Yeah, because I am an outsider. I'm afraid of the mouse.
Number one, and I'm sure, have you seen Star Wars? The new one?
No.
You haven't seen it. Have you seen any of the new ones since Disney took over?
No, but I've been on the Star Wars ride. The Star Wars ride at Disney.
Oh, you've been to Disneyland recently?
10 years ago.
Oh, you've been on Star Tours.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Is that the same thing?
So, okay, let me get into that real quick. Let me get into that, boy.
Get in. Come on, get in it then.
Star Wars, I'm not going to get too into it because you haven't seen the movies, so we're not going to debate about the quality of the films.
But people that are listening have?
Potentially. I'm personally like fine with the movies. I don't think they're anything spectacular, but the movies have been incredibly divisive. And
Great word.
Frankly, I think the movies, Episode 7 did fantastic, but that's because it was the first Star Wars movie in like 12 years. So of course that movie was going to do great. Episode 8 did okay, but I'm sure they would have liked it to make more. But that movie was incredibly divisive. And Episode 9 did okay at the box office, but I'm sure, without a doubt, that movie underperformed for them. And it left a really bad taste in a lot of Star Wars fans' mouths. So this big brand that they spent $4 billion for is now sort of seen as
$4 billion for a
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, they bought Lucasfilm, which also includes Indiana Jones, but they haven't touched that. But so
not yet.
There's those movies, and then they made that Han Solo movie, which was actually considered a flop. They lost money on a fucking Star Wars. How do you lose money on a Star Wars film? It's Star Wars. It's supposed to make money, dude. and if you go to Walmart or anywhere, you'll see tons of Star Wars things on the shelves because no one's buying it. No one's buying it. So that's the first thing. Their stock in Star Wars may have been a bad move. They may have spent too much money on it.
Uh-oh.
And it may be an unredeemable franchise right now.
We were getting like a Star Wars movie like every year for like 5 years straight.
And
do you think that they overshot their shot?
I think that's part of it, that they were releasing too many movies at one time. I think the other part of it was poor leadership by Kathleen Kennedy, who is the head of the Star Wars movies.
Is she gone?
She's not gone, but I can see her stepping down very soon.
Okay.
I don't want to get into that. Star Wars is a whole thing.
Do a whole show on Star Wars and restaurants.
Oh, God, man. But so, yeah, I want to end with Star Wars. Yeah, Star Wars is in bad shape. Also at Disneyland, I don't know if you heard about this, they made a full park that's just Star Wars there.
Yeah. I've been seeing the advertisements for it.
I went there in November.
How was it?
It was cool. I enjoyed it. I'll tell you this, though. It was empty.
Ooh.
There was no one there.
Really?
They had one ride open. A new ride opened in January, and I hear that's kind of upping the business there a little bit. But at the time, there was only one ride. There was a restaurant, and that was pretty much it. Everything else was just sort of stuff to look at, which was neat. But what
about the Hogwarts?
Well, that's Universal.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe making that park was a bad idea, especially since the interest in Star Wars right now is down substantially. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that's the first thing. The second thing is the interest in Marvel is maybe down, and there's no way. This is purely speculation. There's no way to know this, but the big movie Endgame came out last year.
Yes, I remember a lot of people talking about that.
Yeah, Endgame was huge, made a ton of money, but it was also sort of a conclusion to this 23 movie film franchise, and they're releasing a new Black Widow movie soon, and Phase 4 is about to start. And I'm just kind of curious, what's the interest in Marvel after that? Yeah.
I know a couple of people that are Marvel apologists.
I love Marvel too. I'm a big comic book nerd.
And I'm not, but because like stuff that is like Arrow part of Marvel?
That's DC.
Okay. See, that's where my knowledge base is. I'm not sure. I come across things that I like that are kind of cool that I don't even realize is Marvel. So I don't know. Maybe it has to do with the generational break off.
Well, I think it just also has to do with there's been so many goddamn Marvel movies.
It's overkill. They've oversaturated the market.
That maybe just they need to take a break, which would be a huge loss for them because, frankly, and I've been saying frankly a lot, there is a guy named Frank sitting in the corner. He's watching us.
Yes. Hey, Frank.
What's up, Frank?
Frankly.
Yeah. He actually, his name's Franklin, but he goes by Frankly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
let me ask you a question.
I think Marvel has been Disney's biggest moneymaker for the past 10 years.
Are there any new Marvel stories, or is it just been a lot of remaking of old Marvel stories? Is anybody putting new Marvel stories out?
Like in the movies? Like,
yeah.
Is it too connected?
Because with Star Wars...
Like, is it too connected to the comics, is what you're saying?
Right.
No, because I think that's been a huge benefit for Marvel, and maybe something that's hurt Star Wars is that for Star Wars, there isn't this huge back catalog of stories to pick and choose from and make new ones out of.
Right.
And like this huge lore to pick from, where with Marvel films, there is over 60 years of stories that you can just sort of pick and choose what to take from that and put it into your movies. For one, that's fan service. For two, it's just good storytelling, and you can just pick and choose these things. So I think that has worked very beneficially for Marvel, and I think the Marvel movies haven't really stayed within the realms of the comic books, because the comic books don't even stay within the realms of the comic books as far as canon.
Okay, Spider-Man. Marvel?
Spider-Man is Marvel, but he is owned by Sony.
Ugh, this is so complicated.
Yeah.
Because I remember, dude, there was a while where we had like a new Spider-Man movie every other year, and it just seems like it was the same thing over and Sony, over and over. And then the last Spider-Man movie was a cartoon.
No, but that movie is awesome. I love that movie.
With the little black Spider-Man?
Yeah, Miles Morales. I love that movie. It's called Into the Spider-Verse, and that movie is dope as fuck.
Okay. But, the little Nicklet Spider-Man.
But there was actually a live-action movie that came out last year. But that's connected to Disney, because Disney and Sony made this deal, because Sony wasn't doing very well with the Spider-Man franchise. So they made this deal that Disney or Sony will make Disney will make the movies, but Sony will fund them and make most of the profits off of Spider-Man. But then Marvel can use Spider-Man in their movies.
Transformers.
That is Universal, I think.
Okay.
It's not Disney.
Not Disney or Marvel. Okay.
Not Disney.
I'm just trying to think of franchises that have been overdone.
Right.
Because I think that what you're angling at is that the Marvel universe has been overcooked.
I think it's just...
And people are tired of eating it.
I think it's just reached its peak, and I don't think it's like going to go away.
Well, whatever happened to the old Disney vault? They need to put stuff away and let it sit away for a while where people forget about it, and then bring it back out. Wasn't that part of Walt Disney's vision, to bring out these characters every 10 or 20 years so that the new generation can be reintroduced?
First of all, whatever Disney said was forever ago.
Oh, Walt.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Good old Walt.
But I think Marvel movies will continue to be a thing. I just don't think they will continue to be as profitable as they have been. Which means they're going to have to restructure their whole pay model, because right now for the Avengers movies, the last one cost $350 million to make it.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
So they're going to have to like restructure it and start spending a lot less money if these movies aren't making as much money. And I think Marvel works well as like a continued franchise like this, because it's been a continued franchise forever, just in comic books. So now it's the same thing, but it's movies. But so I think that's a huge hit for Disney. The other huge hit for Disney is the coronavirus, which we sort of talked about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we can do a whole show on that too.
Yeah, we talked about that a couple weeks ago with Shanghai Disney and Hong Kong Disney both being shut down. So they're losing a lot of money off of that. They're losing a lot of money off of the movies that they're releasing, because they're not releasing in China. And when they do release in China, which is a huge market for them, are people even going to be willing to go? Or are they still going to be scared to go to the cinemas when the cinemas reopen? So, I mean, that's a huge question. A lot of Disney's money comes from foreign countries, and
which is sad.
I mean,
for America,
it is and it isn't. I mean, we're the biggest pool that they're getting money from, but like, the world is huge. So
the world is huge. You heard it here, folks. The world is huge.
The rest of the world is a lot large. There's a lot more people in the rest of the world than in the United States.
So what do you think the end game is going to be for Disney? And do you believe that Bob Iger has seen what the potential, if he's smart enough to do what he did with his resume, people that normally can do that and turn around an organization and save dying limbs of an organization, they can also predict the date of death.
I think Bob Iger just sat down. He sat with himself. He was looking and thinking about everything I just stated and more. There's so much more that I could go on about, but we'll talk forever if we keep doing that.
Right.
I think he just sat down and was like, shit, I got to get out of here soon, because I think this is going to happen soon. Mulan, the new live action Mulan, was a $300 million movie because they were hoping to get a huge amount of money from Asia. All the theaters in Asia are closed right now. And the movie comes out next month or this month because it's technically March now.
Yeah, 54 minutes ago it became March.
Yeah. So that's a huge loss right there, just with one movie. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. If you're going to spend this huge amount of money on these movies and they fail, that's it's a huge loss, you know, because it's not just $300 million. But it's usually you want to take that budget and you want to double it, because that's usually how much they spend on marketing.
Right.
So they spent probably $600-700 million just on that movie. And if that movie doesn't make its money back, then that hurts, man. You know?
So how do you feel about Bobby Iger? How do you feel about this whole situation? Do you think that...
I think he is one of the smartest men to work in the business, man. For him to totally take a dying Disney, and I don't want to say dying because it wasn't dying, but it was.
It was hemorrhaging.
It was hemorrhaging, and it could have been really bad for Disney. And he came in, he took it, and he completely changed the game.
3 decades, 14 years.
What?
He was with Disney.
14 years.
Yeah.
Yep. 2006, I think, is when.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
Not a bad-looking guy.
So I think he's really smart. I think he was able to totally change everything. I think he sees the impending doom of Disney, and you know, maybe that's too harsh. Maybe he also sees an impending doom of just the economy in general, because that could be a thing as well.
Yeah, because big CEOs of big corporations do jump ship to save their own ass when they see that
I don't know if
something's about to fail.
I don't know if you've seen the stock market, which maybe the stock market these days isn't the best way to judge our economy, but it typically is. The stock market's down pretty drastically this week.
Huge sell-off where we've lost all gains that we picked up in 2020, and they're pointing it to the fears of the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Same thing that happened when the bird flu was around. Same thing that happened with all these other little epidemics that they think are coming around. But
yeah,
the coronavirus is starting to get a little extra scary because people that haven't even traveled abroad are coming down with it. We just had a death of the coronavirus in Washington State, and that person hadn't been out of the country.
Oh, really?
In the last 10 years.
Really? I also hear the coronavirus is the death rate is less than 2%.
Yeah. We had 180,000 people die from the flu. I'm not too
scared. They are saying there's a good chance, like when it starts to heat up a bit, which dude, it definitely is here. Yeah. Jesus, hot today. But there's a good chance that it'll start to die down a bit. But we'll see.
Yeah.
No, but I think Bob Iger was smart to get out when he did. He's been there for 14 years, completely turned around the company. He's ending on top.
Getting out while the getting is good.
Yeah. Because right now, Disney is at this point where there's nowhere to go but down. Because they're just on top, dude.
That's so scary.
They are the top dogs. They've bought everything. But I think there's a good chance that we'll start just sort of like I was saying earlier about these big stores closing. I think we'll start seeing more and more independent films, more independent companies starting to grow, and those places like Fox are going to start to be filled by other shoes. So,
I love indie films. I love spending time watching indie films. Maybe that is where the market is going.
People love indie films now.
Well, you've educated me on Bob Iger. I didn't know how much he did, and you've really opened up my eyes.
I'm sure Bob Iger, though, he sat down and was like, that shit's happening. I'm going to go become the CEO of Coca-Cola or some shit.
That'll never happen.
Dude, if they pay him enough money, he'll do it, I'm sure.
He probably has more money than Jesus at this point.
I'm sure. But, I mean, we could look that up if you want to look that up.
No. No, I'm good.
And in fact, people saying that he could run for president, I don't think that's even too far off.
He's too good looking to run for president.
And I'm not saying he's going to run for president, but I could see him running as some sort of political like some sort of political campaign. He has the smarts.
I just looked up what we were talking about, and this is a question for you. How much do you think Bob Iger is worth?
I want to say 500 million.
You don't think he's a billionaire?
I think he will be once he's out of Disney, because he probably has some sort of severance or something, but I'm guessing 500 million.
You're not too far off. According to Forbes, in December 11th, 2019, Forbes estimates his net worth at $690 million.
Yeah, that's pretty substantial.
You were right upon that at 500 million.
Yeah, because I'm sure he just had some sort of salary, and I'm sure he also had a stake in the company. And I'm sure once he fully steps down from the board, he will sell his stake in the company and make a lot more money.
The interesting thing is that
I don't know anything about that.
Abigail Disney, the Harris,
she got nothing
of Abigail Disney, has a net worth of only $120 million.
Oh, she actually. Oh, because what didn't Disney have like an adopted daughter that he gave nothing to?
Yeah. She is the Harris. Abigail Disney has a net worth of $120 million.
That's pretty wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
With a multi-billion-dollar organization, she has $120 million.
Yeah, I just really wanted to talk. I've been thinking about Bob Iger for a lot. It's made me think about Disney a lot. It's made me think about some stuff that I really like. I love film.
What do you think is gonna? What do you think the job of who's replacing him, Bob Chapek, is going to do? Do we know anything about old Bobby?
So Bob was, and I think it's funny that they're both named Bob. It makes me think of that movie Office Space. I got a meeting with the Bobs.
Yeah, got a meeting with the Bobs.
So I guess Bob was the head of the Walt Disney Land Resort. So, you know, I feel like if you work for Disney, a big part of it is I think they make a lot of their profit off of those parks, dude. So I think if you're running the parks, you probably have a good understanding of what Disney is, what Disney's all about. You've probably worked with Bob Iger very extensively to begin with, so you have an understanding of how he ran things. You work within the company already, so I think he could do a good job. We'll see. He could definitely keep it afloat. But if the things that I am saying are going to come to fruition, he's got a big job ahead of him, I think.
Wow. It's a 2-hour mark.
Oh, I was like, what does that mean? You piecing me out or what?
Hour 50.
Yeah. Well,
you're very passionate, and you schooled me. Dude. I didn't know much about this. You schooled me.
I could get real nerdy about this shit.
You already have.
Like, movies and video games are just like my jam, man.
Yeah.
Like,
food and business are my jam.
I think that's why this show is.
That's why this show works.
I think it's so interesting because, like, I have this perspective of like just pop culture and stuff, and you just have this perspective of Hard Knocks. And
I have the experience in the Hard Knocks, but it's a great dynamic, and that's what makes this show really interesting, because nobody wants to sit back and listen to a podcast of two people just sitting here circle jerking each other.
Yeah.
We disagree on so many things, but we also are smart enough to open each other's eyes and let the other one educate you on something.
I also really think it's fun that you're not super involved with nerd culture, because I feel like that means I can introduce you to some of these things.
You can, but I'm afraid of nerd culture as well.
Yeah. Well, we can. I think it'd be fun to dip your toes in.
I'm obsessive compulsive.
Yeah.
So I'm afraid of. That's one thing. That's one of the reasons why I've never got into video games, because I'm obsessive compulsive. And if I started playing video games, I would become 4,000 more pounds than I already am, and sit in my house and play nothing but video games.
I'm not necessarily talking about video games, but like nerd culture movies. Yeah. I'm sure you haven't seen a lot of the Avengers movies.
No, I haven't.
So, like, I think it'd be fun to get into some of that stuff.
But I did watch for the first time the Transformers Bumblebee movie.
I haven't seen it. It's on Hulu, though.
It's on Amazon.
It's also on Hulu.
Yeah, I watched that because I was over a mutual friend's house.
Yeah.
And he had it on TV, and I was being bothered by his kids, so I really couldn't pay attention to it. So I asked him, what is this on? And he said it's on Amazon. I'm like, okay, cool. So when I got home that next day, I pulled it up, and it was a pretty cool, fun story.
I've heard it's the best. I almost said Avengers. It's the best Transformers movie since the first one.
Now, is the Avengers the one that has all of those characters fighting together to save the world that breaks off and starts to float in the air?
That's one of the Avengers movies.
Okay, so I got a little bit of knowledge.
That's Age of Ultron, I think that you're thinking of. So Captain America, Iron Man,
that guy Thor. That turns into a green, big, huge monster.
Yeah, Hulk.
Hulk is there, and then some Chinese chick with swords. No? Nothing?
I got nothing for that one.
Okay. Maybe I was cross-referencing.
Scarlet Witch. Yeah. And then DC is like Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman.
Now, I've seen the Batman and Bane.
How dare you, Batman?
Well, and of course,
come over here and play.
Of course, there's like some nerd culture movies that
was my Bane.
That's a good Bane.
Thank you.
There's some like nerd culture movies that sort of transcend nerd culture. I think Endgame was one of those.
But I got crazy knowledge when it comes to like movies like Airplane.
I got knowledge on that.
Police Academy.
Same here, man. I just love movies in general. Dude.
You know what I'm saying? Police Academy and
I legitimately try to
Caddyshack.
I try to go to the movie theater once a week.
I wish I could go to the movie theater once a week. Let me ask you this, since you love going to the movies, real quick. Have you gone to a movie by yourself?
All the time.
Really?
Almost every single time.
I find that so damn creepy.
So like I for one, I like going by myself because I find myself getting distracted even by myself when I'm with someone, and I'll lean over and I'll start nudging the person next to me like, hey, did you see that? And so I kind of hate doing that. For two, I don't do anything on Mondays, and no one's off on Monday except for me. Movie theaters have discounted prices on Mondays, and I'll just go see a movie on Monday.
My movie theater has discounted prices on Tuesday. I'm an AMC Premier Stubs member.
Usually just like during the week, if you go during the day.
Harkins is on Wednesday, though. Harkins has $5 movies on Wednesdays.
But usually just like if you just go during the like that morning period.
It's matinees.
Yeah, it's discounted anyway.
Yeah.
So, you're right.
That's
usually when I go.
Yeah, Harkins all has the time, $5 movies on Wednesdays. AMC has $5 Tuesdays. But you're right. Matinee movies any day of the week are always cheaper.
Yeah, it's like $7, and just usually what I'll do is
I'm an AMC guy. What do you prefer, AMC or Harkins?
It depends.
I love AMC.
I think Harkins typically has better screens.
How do you get down with the assigned seating though?
I love it.
You do?
Yeah, big fan. How do you feel?
I like it when I go to the theaters that have dine-in.
Yeah.
I that's where I frequent more theaters. I always feel like
it's a little overpriced for that, though.
Oh, they're extremely overpriced. Yeah. With the dine-in theaters, they're really overpriced. And you go in there, you buy a drink, they're like $14 a drink. But I love the experience. I think any theater that doesn't have assigned seating is doing it wrong. I like going to a theater where my popcorn is served to me in a square bowl. I'm a horse's ass. I'm sorry. But how do you feel? How do you feel about it when it's not a theater like that? If I'm with the kids, I'll deal with it. Yeah. Yeah, I'll deal with it when I'm with the kids. But I like the assigned seating. Number one, I don't like seeing movies the first weekend they come out. I don't like seeing movies in the big theaters. Depends. I like going to the smaller theaters. A little bit more intimate. I don't like being in the theater with 400,000 of my closest sneezing and coughing friends. I'm a little bit of a germaphobe when it comes to that. But I do like the assigned seating. But when I do go to the theater, if it's with the kids, then I've even done the sticky floor Cinema Sabres theater off of I-17 in Bell Road. I haven't done that in a long time. That's a sticky floor theater. It's cheap tickets to see the theater, but where they make up the difference is on concessions. The concessions bag of popcorn is like $55. It's ridiculous. But I like the assigned seating. And I will go to the bag popcorn theater if I'm going with the kids or if I'm taking my nieces. Like when we went to see Dumbo. Yeah. I'm not going to, number one, a big flop too. I can't get my younger kids into the dine-in theater because they're normally 21 and over because they serve alcohol. Yeah.
Well,
and I love having an alcoholic beverage.
Well, now
while
like
watching.
even AMC is starting to do that.
Yeah, AMC has a
too.
beautiful bar.
So pricey though.
McGavins or Miggins or whatever it's called.
McGuffins.
Because something like that.
Because the movie MacGuffin,
Yeah, have you seen the McGuffins bar like at the AMC Deer Valley?
Yeah.
That place is sick. I walked around the corner. I'm like, where the hell did this come from?
So
it's beautiful.
When I see a movie by myself on Mondays, usually I'll it's funny to say. I might cut this out.
Now you got to leave it in.
In the parking lot, I'll usually like buy some tiny wines or something and just get a little boozy out there and save some money.
Oh, I thought you were going to say before I go to the movie theater, I get a...
That too.
Oh, that's why I don't go by myself. Going to a movie by yourself is just creepy to me, but I'm going to do it one day.
But if I ever go to it, like you said, you don't go to opening nights.
Never.
If I go to an opening night, for one, it's going to be like a movie that I'm really stoked for. For two, it's going to be, I'm going to make it an event. So I'm going to go to either like the IMAX showing over. We have one true IMAX screen in Arizona. So I'm going to go over there and watch it there, or I'll go.
Where is that?
It's over in like Tempe.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I thought that was down there.
The Cine Capri or whatever. So I'm going to either see it in true IMAX.
That's not in Tempe. That's in Scottsdale.
You're correct. It's not the Cine Capri, though. It doesn't matter.
It's the Cine Capri off of the 101.
Yeah,
Tatum.
I don't think that's the one with true IMAX, though. I don't know. I
don't think that's the one with true IMAX. I think the true IMAX is in Tempe, but it's not Cine Capri.
Yeah, I can't remember. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
So I'll either go to true IMAX, or there's this thing called Dolby Atmos, and I love Dolby Atmos movies. So
I can't tell you the last time I was stoked to actually go and see a movie. I think the last movie that I went and saw in the theater was with my little niece, my 11-year-old niece, and it was Dumbo. That was the last movie I saw in the theater. Prior to that, I went and saw it wasn't, but she loved it. She's 11.
Yeah.
She didn't see half the movie because she kept going to the bathroom. But don't buy your little 11-year-old niece the biggest soda, because when you go to AMC and you're a Premier StubHubs member, you buy the small size and they automatically upgrade you to the trough of soda, so you never give an 11-year-old a trough of soda. But prior to going and seeing Dumbo, I took my now 19-year-old son and we saw the Will Smith double movie. Where
Gemini
Man. Saw that.
That was another big flop. You see the flops.
That was horrible.
Not a very good one.
But went and saw that, and those are the last two movies. I can't tell you the last time I was excited to go see any type of movie.
I saw. I think the last movie. The last movie I saw, I think, was Birds of Prey, and Harley Quinn and Birds of Prey.
The Latest Showman, I was excited to see, or what is it? The Greatest Showman.
Greatest Showman.
I was excited to see.
What about cats?
But I was I got pointing cats outside my house. I was so excited to see The Greatest Showman, but I refused to go see it on opening weekend. And I just kept delaying going and seeing it, and then finally it came out on digital, and I just bought it on Amazon.
Yeah, I do that sometimes too. Where like there's movies I'm like so looking forward to seeing in theaters, and then I just never get around to it.
But I was going a lot to theaters for a while and seeing things where I've got so many stacked up AMC Premier StubHub points.
See, I've never signed up for that, but I go to the movie theater so much that you probably
would totally benefit from it, man. It's $19 a year for AMC.
Yeah, I probably should do that.
It has so many amazing perks though, and you get to cut in line.
I used to when I maybe back in like 2014, I used to work overnight shifts.
When you were 7?
Yeah, I was 7 years old working overnight shifts.
AMC sent me an email.
This was in China. I was 7 years old, working overnight shifts.
China.
I
have 6,793 stubs points and 0 rewards because I used my last rewards up for the last movie where I pretty much got in for free.
Oh, nice. I got to sign up for that.
I think you should because
I also think AMC should give us some money for this, for us shouting them out like this.
You get $5 back for every $50 you spend.
Oh, man.
You don't have to pay any online ticket fees. You get a free size upgrades on popcorn and fountain drinks, priority lanes at the box office and concessions, free refills on your large popcorn, discount Tuesday savings. You get a birthday gift and other member exclusives. All for AMC StubHub's membership. And I think it's like, I want to say it's like $16 a year or something like that.
That's crazy.
I like it because I'm a horse's ass, and
sure are.
I want to walk in, and you get to walk behind the gold ropes, and you get to go in that little area, that little second area. So you walk into up to the concessions. There's a line of people waiting in the regular line, and you walk up the StubHub's line, and there's no one there, or maybe two people, and then those people have to wait.
Why do you have this if you don't go to the movies?
Well, because I'm a horse's ass, and I don't want to wait.
Dude, I go to the movies so often.
Gemini Man was the last ticket that I bought.
I go to the movies so often that I was in a movie theater once. I was the only one in the theater. I forget exactly what I was watching. And I'm just sitting there, and then the screen turns off, and the lights turn on, and I'm like, whoa, what the hell? Just like in the middle of the movie, and I'm like, what the?
My Hero Academia has a movie?
Yeah.
My Hero Academia, Not Heroes Rising, and then The Invisible Man is out. And I'm reading that off of my AMC StubHub's members app because it sent me an email to tell me these are the movies coming out this weekend.
What is coming out this weekend?
The Invisible Man and My Hero Academia Nut.
I was kind of looking forward to that Invisible Man movie.
And it gave me it gives me suggestions on rentals.
Oh, nice. Frozen 2.
Frozen 2 and Knives Out.
I haven't seen Knives Out.
Yeah. Movies that are playing: My Heroes Academia, The Call of the Wild, dog movies.
Oh, yeah, with Harrison Ford.
Are you excited? Okay, are you excited about that? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Looks dumb.
Okay, Sonic the Hedgehog is playing right now. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
It looks dumb.
Impractical Jokers, the movie. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
I'll wait till video.
The Invisible Man. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
I'm interested. I'll probably see it.
Emma. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Don't know what it is.
Bram's The Boy 3.
Don't know.
Boys 2.
Oh, Bad Boys 2.
No. Bram, The Boys 2.
Oh, no, Bad Boys for Life is right next to it. Yeah, because Bad Boys for Life would be the third one, huh?
So, yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is. Looks like a horror movie.
All right, Bad Boys for Life, thumbs up, thumbs down. Will Smith.
I will wait till video on that one.
This one I would actually go and see with you on a Monday if you wanted to go see. Harley Quinn's Birds of Prey.
I saw it. I loved it. The movie flopped, which bummed me the hell out, but I love that movie.
What was the movie that Harley Quinn was in before when...
Suicide Squad.
I am so a Suicide Squad fan. I love that movie.
I do not like that movie, but she was certainly the best part of that movie.
Blumhouse's Fantasy Island. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Blumhouse, really?
Yeah.
I don't know about it, but...
From the producers of Get Out and Halloween, so it's a black movie.
Jordan Peele, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also playing in AMC right now, 1917.
I saw it. It's great.
Okay, Parasite.
Saw it. It's great.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Gemini, The Next Level.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jumanji, The Next Level.
Oh.
I can't read.
Yeah, that's a wait till video. I might never watch that.
Okay, The Photograph.
Don't know what that is. Who's that?
I don't know. Doolittle.
Oh yeah, that I heard it's horrible.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Are we just going through every movie?
All the ones that are playing right now. There's only a few left.
Okay.
Downhill.
What's it called?
Downhill.
I don't know what that is.
Don't even know. It's an AMC Artisans film. Little Pilodorus D, My Boyfriend's Meds. I've never even heard of that movie, but it's playing right now.
I don't know.
All right.
Wait, what's it?
The Assistant.
Is that Aubrey Plaza?
I don't know.
Oh.
The Assistant.
I don't know what that
Knives
is.
Out.
I want to see it, but I haven't.
Seberg.
Is that Kristen Stewart? Oh, yeah. I wanted to see that, actually.
Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker is still playing.
Yeah. Don't get me started.
Frozen 2 is still playing. Little Women.
Frozen 2 is still playing?
Frozen 2 is still in AMC theater.
No fucking way.
And the rest of these just, oh my God, The Color Purple is out. That must be a special. Yeah. Maybe I have movies especially because
Little Women I really want to see. I really want to see Little Women, and yeah, I'll get around to it eventually.
Okay. So those are some of the movies that are playing out right now. You want to go out on a track, or you just want to just go out? I found something that I think would be kind of fitting.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
My balls is hot.
Oh. All right. You want to take us out or you want me to take us out?
Well, that's the end of the show. Talk to you later. Bye.